Hey guys, how you doing? It's John Goyak, Game Changer at Reframe Your Game and the CEO of the Goyak Group. Hey, I'd like to start a little series on just taking off on a topic a statement I've made many times, but just feel the need to go deeper because it's so very important. I've asked several thousand times who shows up, and that's just not about I show up like a lion, I show up like a bear, I show up like this, I show up the same way I've showed up every day because that's who I choose to be. I'll tell you that you control your environment, and you control how people identify you, how people see you. And if you're not sensitive to that, or you just keep on just banging through life and banging through your job or banging through your story every day the same way, you're going to get a one-dimensional result because you're a one-dimensional person. And I'm here to tell you that is not intriguing, that's not attractive, and that doesn't get you where you want to be if you really want to have a breakout. If you're satisfied with where you are today, great. God bless you. But I'd ask you to consider, what if things were just a little bit different? What if you had an extra 5% or 10% to give? What if you had an extra 5 or 10% to manage, or to exert your power over, to go someplace, do something different? And so I'd like to talk today is about .com Secret 6. It's all about creating the attractive character, creating the persona. And I would argue that there's when you say persona to some people, they say it's a mask, it's fake, it's this, it's that. And I'm here to tell you when I train teams, I train thousands of speakers through hundreds of engagements, and I'm going to tell you that the one thing that is so important is how they show up, who they are instantly when they walk up on the stage, when they walk in the room, when they start to engage with their customer. That's really important. But what's also important is how you change and how you use your sensory acuity to identify what's going on with the audience, the energy coming off the room, and then modifying your persona to be able to take maximum advantage of that, to steer the audience, to get them to reconnect with you if they've lost lock, or to totally change the game. And sometimes that requires you to do something just totally out of your control, out of your comfort space, not your control. And so I'd ask you to consider, most people, what happens is when you lose lock in a meeting, or a customer's eyes roll back in his head, or he sits there and starts looking at his watch, or all the other signs that said, you ain't making it here, dude. You got some choices. Most people choose to talk faster. Most people choose to try to add more. Excuse World War III going on around here, but it is what it is. Most people choose to work harder, try to get the customer's head nodding and stuff like that, and you just run out of gap time because you've already lost. So the real challenge is, what do you do? So you got some choices. You can simply rush to your end, which, like I say, most people do, or you can do something extraordinary, something off the wall, something that's different. Even call attention to the fact, says, look, it's clear that I'm kind of missing the boat here. So hopefully you've done your homework and that won't happen. But if you haven't, you say, look, tell me the 3 things that most worry you, and then shut up and let them start to talk. And if they start to talk, then you may have a chance to pull them back in the game. But you got to be ready. You can't sit there with your stand and then roll back in your normal standard one-dimension personality, one-dimensional speech, and try to reconnect with that. You got to be ready to change your game to match his level of curiosity. Because if you don't have alignment with your customer, I've said many times, you're done. So think about, again, I'm going to use my own cliches, and they're my cliches because I created them. Rerun your game film. Look through your last few meetings and what happened. How did you approach it? Were you ready? Did you walk in asking questions? Just asking questions? Or did you walk in with some sense of where he was, what issues he was trying to solve, and help him and come in with some answers that might engage him? People like people who are interested. People like people who have walked around in their shoes and really kind of tried to understand their problem. They're more willing to try to help you with that. If I simply come in and ask you a bunch of questions, that requires your customer to do the work. That's always a bad idea. So the question becomes, you have to think through your problem, think through your interchange, think through your strategy, think through your outcome. What do you want out of the friggin' meeting? And then what must happen for you to get there? And like I've said before, you got to come at it from 3 different perspectives, above, even, and below, so you get some strength and some power. So you're not sitting there trying to think about what you're trying to say while you're supposed to be listening to what his problems are and having the conversation with him. So you need to decide who you show up as. And there's obviously some tiers below this, and we'll talk about that in the coming days. But truthfully, you got to figure out if you walk in and you can use the old DISC formula or something like that. You're a dominant guy. You're a party boy. These are John's definitions of the DISC thing. You're an auditor, or you're a requirements checker. And by the way, your customers contain all 4 of those. So my question to you is, if you knew your customer was a dominant, I used to call that the general mode, how would you walk in and approach that to be able to engage in a conversation with someone like that who is an instant decider, get things done, go, go, go? Or if you're an I in the DISC formula, then if you're an I in the DISC formula, and that's someone who I used to call it ingratiate, but really is someone who is more socially engaged, socially active with their clients, then that's a whole different thing. So you've got to be able to A, adapt yourself, and B, sense where they are and adapt to that. So it's work. It's not just walking in there and walking through your company briefing. It really isn't. It's about how you engage with your customer. Your ultimate outcome is connect with that person to get him engaged, to be able to get them to close business with you, right? I mean, that's why you're there. You're not punching a time clock. If you're an entrepreneur, you're definitely not punching a time clock. So with that, I'm going to get out of World War III here, and I'll follow up a little more tomorrow. This is John Goak, the Game Changer. I hope this sound came out. God bless you all, and you have a great day. Take care.